Alright, so before we look at the samples of the question papers, we will first look at the different types of questions that you may get for your reading module. Okay, so as you can see on your screen right now, there are different types of questions such as number 1, multiple choice questions, true, false not given, yes, no not given, short answer questions, sentence completion, matching the sentence endings. Then we have something called summary completion, note completion, flow chart completion or table completion. Apart from these types, we also have matching the headings. That means you get list of headings and you have to match the headings to the paragraphs. Then you also have matching the information. Then you have to match names to the features. Sometimes there is something called labeling the diagram also. And we also have summary completion, note completion, flow chart completion and table completion. Well, so these are the different types of questions that you get for your reading module. Now, what are these different types of questions? How are they created? What do they look like? How would I identify if it is matching sentence endings or matching information? What is the meaning of not given in yes, no, not given type of questions? What is the difference between true, false, not given and yes, no, not given types of questions? Alright, wait. We will come to all these questions slowly and gradually. Now, first answer my question. So, if you can see on your screen, I have divided these types of questions in two parts. If you can see, there is one side, there are certain questions written on the left hand side and then there are certain questions written on the right hand side. Correct? I have a question to you people. Why? Why do you think these sets, these types of questions are divided in this format? Or in this pattern for that matter? Look at it. Try to think about it. Why? Couldn't think of it? No guesses? At least try. Try to think of it. Anyway, I'm not going to answer this right now, but I want you to stay with this question for some time longer. Now, next, once again, look at your screen and tell me, do you have a question? Do you see something on the screen that makes you think, why is it written like this? Or anything that you think of that you can notice on the screen right now. Please pause and look at the screen once again and identify what you see on the screen which gives you a question mark. So, if you have noticed, there are certain types of questions which are written on both the sides, left side as well as right side. Which are these questions? Summary completion, note completion, flow chart completion and table completion. You see, they are written on both the sides. Plus, why are these questions divided in two parts? So, I leave you with these two questions right now. I want you to think about it, ponder over it if you can. Meanwhile, we'll just look at the sample question paper for academic and for general training. Alright, now let me give you a quick shout out. Yep, it's my promo time. So, the lessons that you're watching right now, these are just a small part of my full course called IELTS Ultimate All-in-One Course, and honestly, it's everything you will ever need to prepare for the test. This course covers all 4 modules in full detail. Everything is explained in step-by-step manner from basics to advanced, wherein I also explain you how to do self-evaluations so that you're not dependent on anyone to see your improvement. So basically what happens is, when you join the full course, I will talk to you personally on a Zoom call to help you build a customized study plan based on your requirement. And then I stay in touch with you through WhatsApp or email for daily follow-ups, reminders, and also to clear your doubts whenever you have any. This way, you are never preparing alone. My students always say this one-on-one support and clarity is what helped them to finally hit their target score. Oh, and since you're watching this on YouTube, there's a special discount just for you. Go to the description, click on the course link, and while registering, use coupon code TYOFFER and get a super discount. My website, WhatsApp details, contact details, everything is there in the description. Message me if you have any questions. Alright, back to the lesson now. Let's have a look. So on your screen right now is a sample of how your reading academic paper would look like. Let's just quickly have a look at it. So what do we see? Okay, certain instructions are given. All right, once asked, you will just open the paper and you will see that there is written reading passage 1. With that, there are some instructions. It says you should spend about 20 minutes on question 1 to 13, which are based on reading passage 1 below. Then I also see that there is a heading given for this passage. Then let's look at it. It seems to be a lengthier passage, roughly of 2 pages, as we have seen, around 800 to 900 words. Then the questions for this passage start. The first set of question, I would say, let's call it set 1. The first set of questions for this passage is, what is it? It is to complete the notes below. All right. So some notes are given wherein there are questions, question 1, question 2, 3 and 4. You have to complete this based on what is there in the passage. Correct? And you have to choose one correct word from the passage. Okay. Next, let's go to the next set. We see then there are some questions which are from, let's say, the set 2. For this passage, set 2 is wherein you have to answer questions from 5 to 7. And these questions are based on true, false and not given. Okay. All right. Well, have patience. We'll understand how to solve and what is the meaning of true, false and what is not given and all. Have patience. So far, we have seen that 7 questions are over. But if you remember, the instructions in the beginning of the passage said you have to solve question 1 to 13. That means this passage has more set of questions. We have seen set 1, we have seen set 2. Now we have set 3. Okay, now this set 3 has questions from 8 to 13. Well, this gives a feeling that this is the last set for this passage because the 13th question is already written in the instruction. And it says you have to complete the table below. All right, a table is given and there are some blanks from question 8 till 13 which you have to find the answers from the passage and write the answers. Well, let's move ahead. What do we see now? We see reading passage 2. All right. Again, what are the instructions? It says you must spend about 20 minutes on questions 14 till 26 based on the reading passage 2 below. Now we have the heading again and then the passage starts. If you notice, in the first passage, the name or let's say the paragraphs were not labeled with the letters, right? Here we see that paragraphs, or in this case, let's call it section. There are sections. Let's say the passage is divided in different sections and each section is labeled by a letter. All right, well, let that be the case. Let's see what is the length of this passage. Roughly again 2 pages, if you can notice. Again around 800 to 900 words, roughly, approximately. It can be a little more or a little less. Okay, don't be stringent with these numbers also. Okay, so now what do I see? Question 14 to 18. This is set 1 for this passage. Okay, what is this? It says reading passage 2 has 7 paragraphs A to G. Which section contains the following information? So these are the information given to you, and you have to find which information matches with which section. Well, we'll understand how to do that. But for now, let's just look at it that there are different sets of questions, right? The second set for this passage is from question 19 to 22. What are you supposed to do here? You have to complete the summary below. Alright, so a summary is given and you have to find the right word to fit in the blanks. Very well, but still question 22. That means there are 4 more questions left, correct? Let's look at it. Question 23 and 24. Well, what is this again? Now, here you have to choose 2 letters A to E and you have to write the correct letter in the boxes 23 and 24 on the answer sheet. Okay. Now, this is a type of multiple choice, which is what we will cover in the next part of this lesson. So, don't worry. Just roughly understand that this is another type of multiple choice questions. Okay. What do we see? That for the same passage, after set 3 is over, there is set 4, which is again of the same type. That is multiple choice questions type 2. Let's name it that for now. So, what did we notice so far? That passage 1 had 3 sets. Passage 2 has 4 sets of questions. Well, let's move on to passage 3. In passage 3, there are total, again, how many questions? 14 questions, which they advise you to spend roughly 20 minutes on it. Again, we notice that there is a heading, and now we see that there are paragraphs, but they are not labeled, right? Okay, let's just scroll down. Okay, we see that again the length of the passage is roughly 2 pages, and then the very first set starts. The first set for this passage, set 1, is to find the correct letter from the given options. So, this is clearly the common multiple choice question type which you know already. That means there is one question given and there are 3 or 4 options given, and out of these 3 or 4 options you have to choose the correct answer. Multiple choice questions. Okay, so this is the first set for this passage. We scroll down, we see that there is second set. This second set has again some questions, let's say 5 questions are there. What do we see here? Well, it says, look at the instructions, it says, look at the following information, questions 33 to 37, and the list of explorers below. Match each statement with the correct explorer. So, there are different statements given, and then there is a list of different explorers. You have to find out which information or which sentence matches with which explorer. Okay? Interesting, no? On this screen right now, I would like to bring your attention to something called NB. What is NB? Nota bene, basically note below. Well, look at this. It says you may use any letter more than once. Again, we'll come to this in the next part of this lesson. For now, just understand that sometimes in certain cases, we may get some instructions like this, NB. Alright, let's just scroll down. We still have another set, which is set 3 for this passage, and this set is to complete the summary. So, there is a summary given to you and you have to find the correct words from the passage and then mark it in your answer sheet. Alright, now when I see question number 40 over here, I would say yes, the questions are over, the sets are completed for the last passage also. Okay. Now, what does it mean? Why are we focusing on the 40th question specifically? Well, you must have probably noticed, if you have started solving the reading passages, that many a times, well, not many a times, but sometimes. Okay, let's just say sometimes what happens is the 40th question, the very last question, sometimes is on the next page, and there are 3 sets already completed. The candidate feels that, okay, 3 sets for this passage, it's over. So maybe due to the exam pressure or being in a panic state, sometimes they forget to turn the page and see if there is another question left or not. So till the time you see the 40th question on your question paper, make sure that the set is, or rather the passage is not yet over. I must say the questions for the passage are not yet over. What does it mean? Once again, sometimes there are odd questions like give a title to this passage, or one single multiple choice can come as one last set. That means in this entirely new set of multiple choice questions, there could be just one question, which could be the question number 40. So till 39, there are already 3 sets. The candidate feels that, okay, 3 sets are over. There must be 3. Why would there be 4th one? Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. There is a possibility of the 4th set as well. Till the time you see question number 40 on your question paper, make sure that you keep turning the pages. All right. So far we have seen a sample of how an academic reading test looks like. Now, let's look at how a general training reading test looks like. Okay. So once again, what do we have here? Certain instructions which would be written on the front page of your question paper. Then once you start your test, you will see, now this is for general training. Look at this. It says section 1. Section 1 has questions from 1 to 14. But then look at this. It says read the text below and answer questions 1 to 6. There is a text. It has questions 1 to 6 only. Not 1 to 14. 1 to 14 is for section 1. In this section 1, there are 2 texts. Text 1 has questions 1 to 6. Okay. So let's look at the text. All right. What do I see? Well, there is a heading and the text is really small because now the question starts. It's just of 1 page, if you can notice. So what is it? We see that there is just a small text which is then followed by questions. Question 1 to 6. And if I say this is set 1 for this text, set 1 means a set of questions, right? This is just one set of questions for one text. Question 1 to 6. That's it. Finish. Over. There is no set 2. There is just one set of questions for first text. Okay. Let us see what's there in the next text of the same section. So it's now this says read the text below and answer questions 7 to 14. Now here I would say section 1 will get over after I see the question number 14. Now this second text has again a heading. All right. Let's look at the length of it. Oh, okay. Again, pretty small, not like academic. And it has questions 7 to 14. In fact, these questions 7 to 14 are in just one set, set 1. And this set of questions is asking for finding which statement is true for which paragraph. Basically, you have to match each sentence given in the form of a question to the given paragraphs. Because if you noticed, the paragraphs are labeled with different headings as well as letters. Interesting, no? Here also we see some instruction like NB, which is you may use any letter more than once. Wait, hold on, we'll come to that later. But what do we notice here? In section 1, there are 2 texts, right? Text 1 has 6 questions. Text 2 again has questions from 7 to 14. Yes? And in both the texts, we saw that there is just one set of questions for each, right? Of course, the question types are different. In one we saw it was true, false, not given. In another one we have to match the information with the paragraphs. Alright, but do we see there is another set of question for the same text? No. Let's move on to section 2 of general training. So here in section 2 we see questions are from 15 to 27. Alright. But once again it says read the text below and answer questions 15 to 22. Not till 27, okay, till 22. Once again I see that there is a heading. Let's just observe the length. Alright, again the length seems to be smaller. Well, let's see the questions. So here we have questions 15 to 22 all in set 1, right? So there is just once again one set of questions for one text. In case of academic, there are 3, 2 or 4 sets of questions for one passage. I should say multiple sets of questions for one passage. In case of general training, what do we see? So far, one set of questions for one text. Alright, let's see. So this particular set is asking to complete the notes below. Alright, let's move on to the next text of this section. It says the text below, you have to read it and answer the questions from 23 to 27. And what is this? Again, we have the heading of the passage. Further, we scroll down, we see again the length is smaller. Alright. Now the questions, again question 23 to 27, all in set 1. That means again there is just one set of questions, which is to complete the sentences below. Well, let's move on to section 3. Okay, so now I see section 3, it says questions are from 28 to 40. And now it says read the text below and answer questions 28 to 40. Alright, now this again has one heading. I also see that the paragraphs are divided or rather paragraphs are labeled by a letter. That's fine. And what do I observe? Well, again the length of the passage here is much bigger compared to the smaller text in the previous sections rather. Do you now observe how section 3 of general training is similar to the sections of academic? Let's just look at it further. So what do we see? Okay, long passage. Let's scroll down. We have questions from 28 till 40 for this passage, and here I see questions 28 till 31. So I would say this is set number 1, which is asking me to choose the correct letter for the given statement, which is more like multiple choice questions once again. When I scroll down, I see question 32 till 36. That means this is set number 2 for again the same passage, which is asking to do what? Which section contains the following information? Alright, so certain information are given which you have to match to the given paragraphs. Alright, means which sentence is present in which paragraph. Okay, when I scroll down, I see, alright, there is again another set number 3 for the same passage, which is to complete the summary below. Again, interesting, I must say. So this is your third set for the same passage. Yes, wherein you have to complete the summary. Now, did you observe how the third section of general training test is similar to that of an academic test? Alright, so this was just a quick overview of how the tests look like. Did you also notice that the third section, or rather let me say the passage in the third section of the general training test was not the same to that of the third section passage of an academic test. It can't be. Did you notice that the passages were different, the questions were different, but then they were of almost same type, right? The passage, the length of the passage was also almost the same. It can't be exactly same, obviously. Alright, so this was just to bring to your notice how academic and general training are different and same in different areas. This much is clear. Correct? Great. Alright, so now in the next part of this lesson, we'll understand the importance of reading the instructions carefully. Okay? See you there.